Hello everyone. In the last class we had discussed about the immediate constituent analysis or IC analysis. Now, as we have discussed, it was Bloomfield who introduced this theory of constituent analysis. However, the principles were analyzed in greater detail by other linguists, and finally the theory was formulated and subjected to mathematical rigor by Chomsky and others. So this is what is known as the phrase structure grammar. Okay, so this is a method of structural description which was discussed by Noam Chomsky in his book Syntactic Structures, written in the year 1957. Now, an important aspect of PS grammar is that it consists of a set of rules called as phrase structure rules or rewrite rules. So, when we discussed about the immediate constituent analysis, we saw how we can write a sentence or a structure in the form of a tree diagram. Now, phrase structure grammar is an alternative way of expressing the information found in a tree diagram by means of rewrite rules. So whatever information you are giving in the form of a tree diagram can alternatively written in the form of rewrite rules, and that is what is known as the phrase structure grammar. So here you have a sentence written in the form of a tree diagram. So a sentence, let it be any type of sentence, it can be divided into a noun phrase and a verb phrase. And a noun phrase can again be divided into a determiner plus noun. Verb phrase is divided into verb plus noun phrase. Noun phrase once again divided into determiner plus noun. Now, the same information that we have now shown by means of a tree diagram is alternatively shown by means of the PS rules, or it is also known as the rewrite rules in the box. Did you see that? Sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase, noun phrase divided into determiner plus noun, verb divided into it's not verb, it should be verb phrase. Okay, there's a mistake there. Verb phrase divided into verb plus noun phrase. So when you write using rewrite rules, what you get is you'll get a string of linguistic elements, and you can analyze these strings. Okay, for example, you have a sentence like, the boy admires sincerity. Now, this sentence can be written using the rewrite rule. Sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. Now, sentence. Here, sentence we are representing by means of S to show it as the initial symbol. It is called the initial symbol because it initiates the process of rewriting. Okay, so it is known as the initial symbol. S is known as the initial symbol, and NP and VP, which can be further expanded or rewritten, they are known as nodes. Why are they known as nodes? Because they can be further expanded or rewritten. So we have seen that a sentence is divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. Now, what is the next rewrite rule? Noun phrase divided into determiner plus noun. What about the verb phrase? It is divided into verb plus noun phrase. The same thing we are showing by means of a tree diagram. Sentence divided into noun phrase and a verb phrase. Noun phrase divided into determiner and noun. Verb phrase divided into verb plus noun phrase. The is the determiner, boy is the noun, admires is the verb, and sincerity is the noun phrase. So, you see the same tree diagram we have represented by means of PS rules or rewrite rules. So what are a few merits of writing in the form of PS rules? Okay, even if you don't have, even if you haven't written the drawn the tree diagram, by means of these PS rules, like sentence is divided into noun phrase and a verb phrase. So in the noun phrase itself, all the other labels are inbuilt. Okay, so labels are inbuilt in the rewrite rules. Now, what happens? Let's check this rewrite rules written here. The first rule is sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. In the second rule, noun phrase is divided into determiner plus noun. The third rule, verb phrase is divided into verb plus noun phrase. So, if you look at the first sentence, once again, the first rule, sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase, you can use rule number 2 to expand the first rule. Instead of NP in the first rule, you can rewrite it by determiner plus noun. So how does that sentence change into? It becomes determiner plus noun plus verb phrase. Now, apply rule 3 to the same sentence and you get the verb phrase can now be expanded. So it becomes determiner plus noun plus verb plus noun phrase. Okay. Now, apply rule 2 once again to the sentence and it becomes determiner plus noun plus verb plus determiner plus noun. Why? Because when you applied rule number 2 once again, noun phrase was again changed into determiner plus noun. So what will be the terminal string? The terminal string will be determiner plus noun plus verb plus determiner plus noun. So what have you actually done here? Here you have each new rule that you have written was used in order to replace or expand or rewrite the output of the previous rule. Okay, so that is again an advantage of the phrase structure grammar. One, what we have discussed is it is used to the labels are inbuilt in the rewrite rules. I've already told you, sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. In the noun phrase, phrase itself, all the other labels are inbuilt. Okay, you know that noun phrase there is determiner plus noun, and verb phrase has got verb plus determiner plus noun. Okay, so all the labels are inbuilt in the rewrite rules. The second is that you can arrange these PS rules in the form of a sequence, and every new rule that you are writing can be used to replace, expand or rewrite the output of the previous rule. I hope that is clear to you. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes. I have here another tree diagram for another PS rule. Okay, now here let us see the sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. Here, noun phrase is divided into determiner plus adjective plus noun. Okay, so here you should also understand, I have already told you that noun phrase is divided into determiner plus noun. For example, I have a noun phrase like the girl. There, it is divided into determiner plus noun. But then there are also certain phrases where there can be an adjective along with a noun. For example, the beautiful girl. Okay, so here adjective is optional. Not that in all noun phrases you will have an adjective, but then certain noun phrases there can be an adjective. So adjective is an optional element in the noun phrase. But then determiner is obligatory, because for or with every countable noun you should have the determiner. Okay, so determiner is obligatory but adjective is optional. We shall be discussing about this aspect later. And verb is divided into verb plus auxiliary plus noun phrase plus a prepositional phrase. Again, the noun phrase can be divided once again into determiner plus noun. Prepositional phrase can be divided into preposition plus a noun phrase. Once again, you know that noun phrase will be divided into determiner plus noun. Now, I have shown delta underneath determiner, adjective, noun, verb, auxiliary, etc. in order to show that they are terminal nodes because they cannot be expanded once again. But noun phrase, verb phrase, etc. they are non-terminal nodes because they can be further expanded. Now, underneath the prepositional phrase, you have preposition plus a noun phrase, and there underneath the noun phrase, it again is divided into determiner plus noun. So there should be deltas underneath determiner and noun there as well. But because of the space restriction, I couldn't show the deltas underneath it, but understand there should be deltas underneath it as well. You can, if you want, you can use deltas to show that those are terminal nodes because they cannot be expanded any further. Okay, now so you have understood what is meant by terminal node as well as non-terminal node. Non-terminal means you can expand it. Terminal means you cannot expand it any further. There are other terms as well, branching nodes as well as non-branching nodes. Noun phrase, verb phrase, they are referred to as branching nodes because they can be branched further. Whereas determiner, adjective, noun, verb, etc. they are non-branching nodes. I hope these terms are clear to you. Yes. Now, this is what I had discussed with you earlier. The categorical labels. We have divided the sentence into different categories like noun phrase, verb phrase, etc. So there are two types of categorical labels. One is obligatory, the other one is optional. I told you the noun phrase will be divided into determiner plus noun. Their determiner is an obligatory label because before any countable noun, you should have a determiner. Therefore, determiner is an obligatory label. Whereas the adjective, for example, in the sentence, the old man, there the adjective is optional because in all noun phrases, you will not have an adjective. It is there only in this sentence, in this phrase, the old man. Okay, so in order to show that it is optional, I have put old within brackets. Okay, so adjective is optional in the noun phrase, whereas determiner is obligatory. So what are the constituents of a noun phrase? Noun phrase will have determiner plus noun, or it can be determiner plus adjective plus noun. Okay, and adjective is optional. So you have understood the constituents of the noun phrase. Okay, there can be more constituents in the noun phrase which we shall be discussing in the coming slides. Okay, but understand that usually noun phrase will have determiner plus noun. Now what about the verb phrase? If you look at the constituents of the verb phrase can have just the verb. For example, the boy slept. You are dividing it into noun phrase and verb phrase. So the boy will be the noun phrase and slept is the verb phrase. Verb phrase can have just the verb. Verb phrase can have just the verb. Okay. Now, verb phrase can have verb followed by a noun phrase. For example, the child found the puppy. Here, found is the verb, the puppy is the noun phrase. Noun phrase can again be divided into determiner plus noun. So, the puppy will be divided into the and puppy. So, verb phrase can have verb plus noun phrase plus prepositional phrase. So, here the verb is put, noun phrase is the cake, and prepositional phrase is in the cupboard. Verb phrase can have verb plus a prepositional phrase. Here you have a sentence, the child laughed at the puppy. Laughed is the verb and at the puppy is the prepositional phrase. Now let's check a sentence. My brother gave my son a book. Let us see the PS rule for this sentence. Sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. Noun phrase is determiner plus noun. Verb phrase is verb plus noun phrase plus noun phrase. The same PS rule we are going to show by means of a tree diagram. Sentence divided into noun phrase, verb phrase. Noun phrase divided into determiner noun. Verb phrase divided into verb plus noun phrase plus noun phrase. Noun phrase again divided into determiner plus noun. Again you have one more noun phrase which is divided into determiner plus noun. So you have the labeling my, which is a determiner, brother noun, gave is the verb, my determiner, son noun, a is a determiner, book is the noun. So that is the tree diagram for the PS rule. So I have already discussed with you what a branching node is and what a non-branching node is. Also the non-terminal nodes and terminal nodes. So we can use PS rules to show different structures. For example, a sentence can have a noun phrase plus verb phrase. Noun phrase can have determiner plus noun. Verb phrase can have auxiliary plus verb plus a noun phrase. So you are combining the noun phrase and the verb phrase and you get determiner plus noun plus auxiliary plus verb plus determiner plus noun. You can have a sentence using this noun phrase and verb phrase like the girl will sing a song. The is the determiner, girl is the noun, will is auxiliary, sing is the verb, a is the determiner and song is the noun. So I have another PS rule. Sentence divided into noun phrase plus verb phrase. Noun phrase has just the noun. Verb phrase has auxiliary plus verb plus noun. So you are combining the noun phrase and the verb phrase and you have noun plus auxiliary plus verb plus noun. So John is the noun, auxiliary is can, verb is teach and noun is grammar. The sentence is John can teach grammar. So let us check once again the constituents of a noun phrase. Noun phrase can have a determiner plus noun like the boy. Or it can be just a pronoun. Instead of the boy, I can use he. Or it can be a proper noun. I can use John instead of the boy or he. So these can be the constituents of a noun phrase. What about the constituents of a verb phrase? It can be just a verb like the girl walked. Okay, just a verb. Or it can be a verb plus a noun phrase. For example, the boy caught a bird. The sentence can be a verb plus a prepositional phrase. For example, he sat on the chair. Okay, on the chair is the prepositional phrase. Or it can be verb plus an adjective like he is tall. Is the verb and tall is the adjective. So we have seen the constituents of the noun phrase and the verb phrase. And by joining this noun phrase and verb phrase, you can form different types of sentences like the boy can kill a snake or the old man will see the girl. But sometimes by just simply combining noun phrase and the verb phrase, you might also generate nonsensical sentences like the table can kill a snake or the table will see the old man. So how do you avoid that? You avoid it by using the rules context sensitive. So we shall be discussing about that in the next class. For the time being, I would advise you to go through this video once again and reflect on what we have discussed so far. So see you once again in the next class. Thank you.